I adjusted my gray maintenance uniform, watching from the back of the auditorium as Anderson Global celebrated my father's retirement. 40 years as CEO, and his crowning achievement was about to be announced. The interim CEO smiled at the podium. The future leadership of Anderson Global. In the front row, my sister Victoria sat proudly in her designer suit, her posture perfect, her image polished. She'd spent years cultivating her role as the heir apparent, while I'd spent mine learning every aspect of the business, starting from the ground up. The board has made its decision, the interim CEO continued. But first, let's discuss office assignments for our departing CEO's children. Victoria's smile widened. Everyone knew the executive suite had been renovated for her, or so she thought. Victoria Anderson will assume control of our Pacific division, he announced. Your office is on the 32nd floor. Her smile faltered. The executive offices were on the 40th. And Sarah Anderson, he paused, checked his notes and continued, you'll be based in building maintenance. Your office is on B2. Suppressed laughter rippled through the crowd. Victoria shot me a triumphant smirk. I kept my expression neutral, continuing to dust the back railings. For 6 months, I'd worked as a janitor, learning our operations from the bottom while the board executed our carefully planned strategy. Enjoy your office, Victoria whispered later as she passed me. Though I suppose a mop closet suits you. If she only knew that her new Pacific Division role was temporary, that the real announcement was coming in exactly 1 hour. My phone buzzed silently. Another update from the real executive floor, where the final preparations were being made. I pushed my cleaning cart into the service elevator heading to B2. The maintenance staff greeted me warmly. They had become my most valuable allies during this undercover work. Ready for the big reveal, Miss A? Carlos, our head of maintenance, winked. Almost. I smiled, checking my watch. Victoria's still celebrating upstairs. Bet she never bothered to learn how the building actually runs. Or the names of the people who keep it running, he chuckled. I nodded, thinking of all I'd learned in my mop closet office. My phone vibrated again. Board assembly complete. Awaiting final announcement. In the locker room I changed quickly. The janitor's uniform came off, revealing tailored business attire beneath. 6 months had taught me more about the company than 20 years of board meetings ever could. The intercom crackled. Would the board president please come to the executive floor? Victoria's voice echoed down the hall. Finally. My real position is about to be announced. I smiled, removing my maintenance cap. She hadn't noticed that her janitor sister had been missing from board meetings for months. Sarah Anderson, board president, had been running them under a different name. Time for the real announcement, I murmured, stepping into the executive elevator. The boardroom fell silent as I entered, still in my janitor's uniform but carrying the authority of 6 months of undercover leadership. Where's the board president? Victoria demanded. We're waiting for the real leadership announcement. Actually, I said, removing my maintenance badge, the board president is right here. Though you might know me better as the janitor from B2. Her face drained of color as I walked to the head of the table, revealing my business attire beneath the uniform. This is impossible, she whispered. No, I corrected gently, pulling out the signed leadership documents. This is what happens when you actually learn how your company works, from the ground up. The interim CEO beamed. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Sarah Anderson, board president and new CEO of Anderson Global. Victoria's purse slipped from her hands as the truth hit her. While she had been rehearsing speeches, I had been learning the company's heart, one maintenance shift at a time. The Pacific Division is still yours, I told her. But you might want to learn your maintenance staff's names. They know more about operations than most executives. My phone buzzed again. Press release ready. Anderson Global announces new CEO. It was time to show the world what 6 months in a janitor's closet had really taught me about running a global corporation. Her world of executive privilege was crumbling around her. The board will never accept this long term, she hissed. The board, I smiled, is currently touring our maintenance facilities, learning what I learned. Turns out, understanding your company from the ground up is contagious. As they left, I returned to my reports, maintenance logs stacked beside financial statements. The company I had discovered in the basement was far stronger than the one I'd known from the boardroom. 1 month later, Anderson Global had transformed beyond recognition. The rigid hierarchy had been replaced with a collaborative structure. Maintenance chiefs now attended board meetings and executives spent time learning ground-level operations. From my new office, relocated to a central floor halfway between the executive suite and the maintenance level, I reviewed the morning reports. Symbolic perhaps. Effective absolutely. "Ms. Anderson," my assistant said as she entered, "your mother is here. She's been waiting in the new common area." I glanced at the monitors. She sat stiffly in our redesigned lobby, clearly uncomfortable as cleaning crews and division heads mingled over coffee. "Send her up," I replied, approving a major merger and a maintenance team's efficiency proposal at the same time. When she entered, her eyes widened. My office walls displayed maintenance logs beside market reports. A tool belt hung beside my business awards. "Sarah," she said carefully, clutching her designer handbag. "This is different." "Different works," I answered, pulling up our latest results. Profits up 45%. Efficiency increased 60%. Employee satisfaction at record levels. "But your sister is doing well in the Pacific Division," I finished for her. "I hear she's finally learned her maintenance team's names." Progress. My phone buzzed. Another innovation proposal from the ground crew. They had become our most valuable source of improvements. "The charity board is concerned," my mother continued. "This new approach, it's not how things are done." "You mean letting the help have a voice?" I asked lightly. "Actually, it's exactly how things should be done. Watch." I pressed the intercom. "Carlos, could you join us?" Our head of maintenance entered, wearing the hybrid uniform we'd developed. Professional enough for board meetings, practical enough for hands-on work. "Mrs. Anderson," he said respectfully, "I was just reviewing energy efficiency proposals with the executive team." My mother blinked as he pulled up complex technical data on the screens. "The basement crew's ideas will save us millions," Carlos explained. "Just like your daughter's innovations when she worked with us." "Worked with you," my mother whispered. "Best maintenance trainee we ever had," he grinned. Though we didn't know she was the future CEO at the time. After he left, my mother sank heavily into a chair. "You actually worked as a janitor?" "I fixed HVAC systems, cleaned floors, learned every aspect of our operations." I gestured to the wall of certification badges. "All real. All earned." My phone lit up with a headline. Forbes, Anderson Global's revolutionary model. From basement to boardroom. "The social implications," my mother began, "are exactly what we needed," I cut in, pulling up live feeds of our transformed culture. Maintenance staff were presenting innovations to the board. Executives were shadowing ground-level teams. Barriers were breaking everywhere. "Victoria says you're making her take maintenance shifts," my mother said quietly. "Optional but recommended," I corrected. "She's learning more about leadership in B2 than she ever did in her corner office." My assistant reappeared. "The World Business Council wants you to keynote their conference. Topic: Breaking Down Barriers, the New Corporate Culture." "Schedule it," I nodded. "And please invite the maintenance team. They're the real experts on breaking barriers." After my assistant left, my mother studied me, her daughter still proudly displaying maintenance credentials alongside executive degrees. "Your father built this company on tradition," she said softly. "And I'm building it on truth," I replied. "The truth that every role matters. That leadership means understanding all levels. That the best ideas can come from any floor of the building." My phone buzzed again. "Anderson Global sets new industry standards for inclusive management and operational efficiency." "The charity gala next month," my mother asked hesitantly. "Will you attend as CO?" "I'll attend as Sarah Anderson," I smiled. CO, certified maintenance technician and proud student of every person in this building. Victoria will be there too, hopefully with some practical knowledge to share, if she takes her basement shift seriously. My mother stood, smoothing her designer dress. "This isn't the company we expected you to run." "No," I agreed, watching the screens filled with collaborative energy. "It's better. And it works." After she left, I prepared for my next meeting. A joint session with board members and maintenance crews, brainstorming innovations only possible by combining their perspectives. My phone lit up one final time. Business schools begin studying the Anderson model. Breaking hierarchy, building success. I smiled, remembering Victoria's taunt. A mop closet suits you. She was right, just not in the way she intended. That closet had taught me more about leadership than any executive suite ever could. It showed me the true foundation of our company. Not the boardroom where decisions were made, but the basement where reality was maintained. Now, every office at Anderson Global bore both. Practical tools alongside business plans. Hands-on knowledge supporting executive decisions. The future wasn't in ivory towers anymore. It was in the balance between mop and mandate.